Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. Making you healthier one bite at a time. Tip with Toni. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Toni podcast. I'm Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This episode is a snippet, little bit of an interview that I had. I was interviewed on the Fraud Pod podcast by Frankie Rodriguez. And if you go to the Fraud Pod, I actually put the episode in the show notes. It's over an hour long, the interview. It was a great time, and there's a lot of useful and helpful information for all of you. However, I wanted to take out one specific component that I thought would be super helpful. And I know some of you might have, you're either in a relationship or you're married or you're dating, and you just maybe feel that you want to get healthy, you want to get fit, but maybe your partner doesn't want to, or you don't have the supports around you. So how do you get them to help motivate you? And this is a question that I got on the Fraud Pod, and I answered it here. So I figured, why not share this little snippet with you? So without further ado, enjoy this episode where you can learn how to get your partner on board with your healthy eating habits.
All right. Well, I think that was actually all the questions. We ran those pretty quickly.
That's good.
Yeah. And now we're going to get into my favorite segment. I love this segment. It's still kind of just a regular question, but there's a partner involved. So we're going to get into a Let Fraud Love You question. And this question is, my husband and I got super fit for our wedding, but now that we're married and living together, we've both gained weight, stopped working out as much, and don't have as much time to cook healthy meals together at home. How can we fight this love chub, and how do we establish healthy eating habits / schedules with your partner?
I love this question so much. Okay. So many things. One thing I definitely think of is like, what were you doing before that you're not doing now? And why were you able to do it then? And now magically you're not able to do it anymore. Your life may have changed and there might be situations at hand, but you had like this strong motivator, right? Having to fit into a wedding dress, having to, fit in that tux, whatever it was. You had something that was really huge, monumental and like life changing. And so it was super motivating, right?
Yeah.
We have to look at our lives the same way. So many people think it's like, oh, I have to look good for this bikini or for the summer or for the wedding or for, this event or that event. But like, what about for your life? Don't you want to just show up for your partner every day feeling as confident as you did on your wedding night? Right? It's a lot more than that. So I'll just have them take a look at that a little bit deeper. Second thing is you obviously had each other and it was a partnership and it made it really, really easy to do. I would say when you have two people on board with a similar goal, it becomes a lot easier to do that. At the same time, they can't depend on each other to make their health, whatever they want to do with their health.
Right.
That's the biggest mistake I think people make is just because your husband chooses to eat fried food in front of you, that doesn't make him a bad person. That also doesn't mean you need to eat all the fried food.
Right. Yeah.
The only person responsible for your eating decisions is you.
Yeah.
Right?
Can't blame others.
You can't.
No.
You have to take radical responsibility for the fact that your choices are your choices. And your husband's not going to love you any less if you choose to eat a salad instead of going and having beer with him or whatever it is. Not that you can't do that. You know, I teach people how to, eat balanced and make room for those things. But I think it has to take one person to really say, I'm doing this for me. Express that to their partner and say, I really loved when we were doing this together. It would be really helpful if you could support me through this and communicate that. But at the same time, when you love your decisions, you don't need anybody else to love them. You don't need permission for him to get started or the reverse, whatever it is that the person that wants to really start doing this isn't doing it.
Right.
You have to do it for you. And maybe your life has changed. I think a lot of people too, probably before the wedding, they were probably almost at 100 when it came to like crushing it in the gym, eating perfect, blah, blah. They may not have done it the most, sustainable way.
Right.
And so now their perception of doing healthy eating and gym and all that was that extreme.
Yeah.
So it's resisting them to get started again. I'd just take a look at what does your life look like now and where are you going to find that middle ground?
Yeah.
And what can you do differently? And one thing I will say just to add to that is I actually had a client who she actually graduated from the program. When she first started working with me, a lot of the times it was,
Sorry, it's my phone giving feedback. Sorry about that.
A lot of times it was about the husband wants to order in or, he doesn't want to go to the gym, like all these things. And I would really have to kind of talk to her about like, okay, what do you want? What's important to you?
Right.
What do you, how, if you want to be able to enjoy a little bit of this, how do we do that? Right. And so it's really just bringing it back to her. Although she kept bringing up the husband, it's what do you want? What do you need? As we started working together, she started getting in the habit of preparing for more food at home, really just focusing on, what her needs were. And she started feeling so good. Her husband, after about 2 months, naturally just started kind of following her.
Oh,
the damn man lost 70 pounds.
No way.
I swear to God.
70 pounds?
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, which is amazing,
really
which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny because, first of all, she didn't have a lot of weight to lose. For her, it was more of like developing a healthier relationship with food, feeling more confident in her skin.
Right.
When she came to me, she was actually at a healthy weight. And when she graduated from the program, she was 10 pounds lighter, but still at a healthy weight. So just to kind of put that in perspective, for her, it was more about like she was eating emotionally. She kept just feeling like not well, just not energized.
Yeah.
So for her, it wasn't about the weight. He did have a lot of weight to lose. But he wasn't on board. He supported her.
Right,
he let her,
right.
They were doing he knew she was doing the program. He wasn't trying to sabotage her efforts, even though women will say that. It wasn't doing that. He was eating what he wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And so until she got clear on what she wanted, then she was able to finally be able to say, you know what, babe, no thanks. I don't want to have that. Right. She stuck to what she wanted to do for herself. And as a result, he saw
gravitated towards it.
And he lost 70 pounds.
You should have charged 2 people. You should have charged 2 people. He's got a free program. Are you kidding me?
It's so funny because, she would get a lot of compliments.
Right.
Because there's a different type of energy and glow that you put off when you're taking care of yourself. And she was getting a lot of compliments, but then he started getting all the compliments. She's like, they can't stop looking at him. What are you doing? And they're like, it's just so funny because it really, he was just, she was cooking healthier food. He was just, eating that. Then he started going back to the gym.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's funny.
Side note, they are a hot couple.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
They are banging.
Yeah. Hey.
And it's all related to self-care.
Yeah, absolutely.
And being honest with what you want and what you need. And so that's what I would say. And if anybody who answered any of your questions, if I didn't really get down to it or you have a different type of situation, please don't hesitate to message me on Instagram or email me or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I love being able to know more of the context of the situation before making general assumptions.
Yeah. But it is crazy how that energy can just carry on to the household, everyone else in the household. That's awesome. 70 pounds.
70 pounds.
It's like a toddler, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a big toddler. I don't know. But yeah, that's awesome. So thank you for saying that in. That was Let Fraud Love You.
I hope you found that helpful and informative. If you did, please screenshot this episode, tag it on your story, tag me, tag the Fraud Pod on Instagram, tag the Tips with Toni podcast on Instagram, and tag Tips with Toni on Instagram, and let us know that this resonated with you and was helpful. And tell me, what are you going to do differently? Are you going to take responsibility, radical responsibility to create change? I hope so, because at the end of the day, your change, your life is really solely up to you. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you are subscribed to the Tips with Toni podcast. I have new episodes released every Monday and every Wednesday. And if you want your questions answered or you have a specific topic in mind that you want me to elaborate on, feel free to send me an email, tipswithtoni@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. As always, you're listening to the Tips with Toni podcast. I'm Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.